third.
The Legends of Grayskull podcast.
Legends of Grayskull is a fan podcast exploring the vast worlds of He-Man and She-Ra. Join Sean Scavarna and Matthew Duke as they discuss the history and mystery of Eternia and Etheria, diving deep into all incarnations of Masters of the Universe.
Hey, you know who's back? It's the Legends of Grayskull podcast. Now that you know, let's go. Get ready for the show. It's the Legends of Grayskull podcast. Sit back and enjoy the ride. Right now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to L.O.G on MYP. This is normally the fan miniseries where Curtis Ackerman and Matthew Duch break down an episode of the He-Man and the Master Universe 2002 cartoon. But as you know, we recently finished season 1, so we are on our summer hiatus. So what can we possibly fill the time with? Well, we're going to start off with some more toys of 2000X. We are now up to Wave 5. So, and actually we through happenstance, through error, we can try and pretend it's great planning, but you know, so this is actually Wave 5 would have been the summer of 2003 wave. So this is the wave that was coming out right as season 1 was wrapping up. So
Very
look at
cool.
us go.
Yeah, we're right there, trucking along.
So I know Curtis is excited. He can't wait to see how many He-Mens.
I'm hoping we get a He-Man, man. I mean, this is Masters of the Universe. We need a He-Man and a Skeletor. When are they going to give us some?
It's been so long. It's been so long.
Yep.
So yeah, so if you haven't checked out our previous ones, we've gone through waves 1 through 3 or 1 through 4 already. Check those out. And we're going to dive right into Wave 5 here.
Do we need an updated count on the?
Do you have your count? Because I don't know where I put my count.
Yeah, I've got currently 18 different ways to buy He-Man and Skeletor through 4 waves. That is 11 He-Man and 7 Skeletors. So yeah.
Let's see if we can add to that count today.
I don't think so. I don't think they'll do it. But.
So right off the bat, this is the wave where Mattel, one of the great things about this line that we've applauded throughout here is, the fact that these are all unique sculpts. And, that was a huge leap forward at the time for Mattel. Mm-hmm. Well, this wave, unfortunately, is about the time that Mattel realized, we need to get a little bit more money out of these sculpts.
Yeah. We've already kind of put out some initial figures.
Right.
Maybe some of the ones that were on the shelf, maybe they're still sitting there, but maybe there's some other ones that aren't. Let's go ahead and throw some color on them and see what we can come up with.
Yeah. So first off, we're going to knock. So this is the first wave to feature the repaint version. So we're going to knock all of these ones right off the bat. So this wave saw the Trapjaw repaint, Skeletor, Beastman, Merman, Ramman, and Triclops. Mm-hmm. So, and a couple interesting things to note is obviously this is the infamous Disco Skeletor that we can now not get rid of. They have to release a version of him in like every line.
Yeah.
And the other big call out I want to make to start off with is the Ramman repaint. Originally, when that was solicited, it was called Spike Ramman. And so it's supposed to be originally more like Battle Glove Man at Arms, where he would have had a different accessory and a couple modifications to his armor. And for whatever reason, I'm still not sure. I just remember we were all speculating about what Spike Ramman was going to be. And then when it came out, it ended up just being Ramman in different colors with the exact same weapon. So, but Curse,
Trapjaw, obviously that's kind of a take on the mini comic, right?
Yeah, that's the most valid one in my opinion.
Obviously, well, even the Ramman, like if you look at the Ramman, it's more that kind of bright red, right? Yep. So I think that was probably one. If I'm a vintage guy, I look at this and go, okay, I recognize that trap shot because of the mini comic. The Ram Man, if I've already picked up the other Ram Man, I don't know that this is different enough for me to want to grab it. But if I hadn't, this would probably be the preferred version.
Yep.
And then I'm trying to find the Triclops one because I've got like 10 billion tabs here.
The Triclops is fun, and the reason I bought him back in the day was purely because he's got a different colored Doomseeker, and I thought that was really cool. It's a green Doomseeker to line up with his.
I think the thing that I like about him is the colored torso and legs. Like it makes him more armored.
Yeah,
I think kind of feels. I
armor.
can't picture him in the cartoon, but it feels more like the 2000X. I don't know if that's correct or not.
It's not. He was still exposed in the cartoon.
Was he? Okay.
Yep.
I don't know. That's a cool look. Beastman doesn't look really much different at all. I think
swapping out the silver on the gauntlets and the bracers and everything.
Yeah, and like the fur piece instead of brown is green, which I don't know. I don't know. The merman. Go ahead.
Yeah. Go. I was just gonna say, definitely for a lot of these, and especially the merman you were about to get to. This was also like around the time when Mattel was realizing that like people wanted these characters still. The way Merman was wave 1. He was the hardest to find. He was short packed in that wave. So this was also a chance for Mattel to get these characters back out. And I think that's why like Merman was the hardest to find, and he's kind of got the least changes. He's got that green on his armor now, but overall he basically looks like a merman.
I mean, I think on all of these, I think I like if I had bought these originally, I think the Triclops would have made me buy another one just because I think that one's really cool looking. I think the Ram Man, if I had already bought one, I don't know that I would have got this, but this definitely would be my preferred version. And the Merman, I think I prefer this over the first one. Like it just has more paint apps instead of that, the armor being one solid color. There's a few more paint hits on it. And then the shins and bracers are a little bit darker color to make them stand out. I think I prefer this Merman. So, but the Beastman, no go. Trapjaw, I was never a fan of the mini comic Trapjaw look. Disco Skeletor, definitely not my preferred Skeletor, but it's unique. It's neat. It's, it's something. It's a thing.
It became a thing, that's for sure. It was definitely so. Out of these, the ones that I bought I bought the Triclops repaint for the Doomseeker. I appreciated the Trapjaw, and I'm like, I see what you did there, but I never did pick him up.
Yeah.
And then the only other one I picked up was the Disco Skeletor, which was like, it was just so goofy. Like, it was one of those, like, I had to buy it. And I'm pretty sure it's long faded somewhere, lost in a move somewhere. But I'm pretty sure I never even took him out of the package. I was just like, okay, that's... If anything, I'm like, okay, are they trying to do a God Skeletor, 87 movie homage?
That's what it feels like to me, is like they were, kind of inspired by the movie.
And it doesn't show up well there, but he's actually got a chrome blue chest.
Yeah.
Where
I like the black
shiny.
arms too. Like the black arms is a nice touch, and legs. So,
but yeah, and now we just can't get rid of it. It was so goofy. It left such an impression. It was so divisive throughout the community that now everybody has to do a Disco Skeletor, from Funko Pops to Mondo to.
I mean, the name of the game is repaints, because that's how you get the most out of your tooling. And it's just an easy repaint that is going to sell. So it's kind of the same as like Anti-Attorney He-Man, right?
Sure.
Like, if you throw that black and red color scheme on him, people are still going to buy it, even if it's the same exact sculpt they've already paid for.
Yep. Yeah, just humorous. Just because I remember at the time how divisive it was, and how the majority of people hated this repaint, and now it's just kind of become somehow, like you said, somehow it's guaranteed money. Like, it's just funny how over time it changes like that.
I mean, out of all of them, I think Triclops is definitely the best. Like,
Yeah,
in fact,
he's
this
fun.
may be, at this point in time. So you threw, the vintage and this may be my favorite Triclops. So,
Wow, that's bold.
yeah,
I like it.
that's what
All
we're
right,
here
so
for.
and
Hot takes.
did you knock another Skeletor on your count?
I've got to do that. That's true.
Yep,
So
we got one Skeletor. So
there you go.
I will say right before we move on, I prefer the repaint idea
Mhm.
to Battle Glove Man at Arms, where it's like he has a new attachment. Like that felt too Malibu Stacy's new hat to me.
Mhm.
Whereas these, it's like, okay, I may not agree with all the repaints, but at least you're trying to get the characters back out there with enough of a difference to make it worthwhile.
Well, and if you think back to, the vintage, right? Like a lot of these bodies were the same, right?
Mhm.
Like Beastman used the Stratos body, and Merman used a lot of the parts from Skeletor and stuff. So because they're doing all these unique sculpts for each character, really the only way that you're going to get to reuse that tooling is if you do a repaint. Like
Right.
it's the only way for them to get any extra use out of it. So it makes sense. And I like that they gave them a little something. It wasn't like, hey, we're just going to put out, more copies of the same figure that already came
Right.
out. We're going to give you something a little bit different. And, that way, if somebody did buy the first one, they may still be tempted to buy a second one, because they're looking for that first time sale, but they're also looking for the one, the collector out there that's buying everything.
Absolutely. All right, next up, we've got Ice Armor He-Man.
Oh, thank goodness we got a He-Man. All right.
Because Skeletor was getting too close there for a minute. So
Yeah, I was getting worried.
we gotta keep it even. So Ice Armor He-Man, he comes with his ice spear, ice blades, and a shield. And this is an entirely new sculpt for He-Man. So it's got a beefier body. He's more muscular. He's wider. I felt at the time he was more cartoon looking. Is definitely closer to that MYP body than the skinnier He-Man that we got in the first wave. Yep, all new boots, armor, loincloth. This is the first He-Man to not come with a version of the power sword. Instead, he's got his icicle spear, and then he's got his shield. It kind of had the same idea of a power punch, where you pull back the waist and he goes, but the idea was you put the ice blades on the shield, you pull him back, and he like launches the blade from the shield.
And did it actually launch?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and obviously this is the first variant that we saw in the MYP series as well. So in Trust. So kind of a big deal. This was a knockout. The second I saw him on the store shelves, I had to get him. I love the look in the cartoon. He looks great in figure form, and I wish getting him. I wish that they had used this beefier buck for He-Man originally. It looked a lot better.
He definitely looks sturdy.
Yes.
Yeah, I love this look. I love the fur boots. I love the loin with the nice dry brushing on it. Some nice paint apps. The kind of fur, I guess half cloak or whatever you want to call that.
Look, cape.
The overall look is really good. I mean, I love this in the cartoon, and love it here. Yeah, this is, I'm not for what are we at 12 versions of He-Man, but
Right.
if you're gonna give me 12 versions of He-Man, this one's one of the ones that I'm okay with you keeping. So
yeah, like this is the first one where it felt like necessary. Plus, like I said, getting the new upgraded body was like, okay, we're getting something here. And I know it's funny you say, I know you're a big fan of the Batmans from the old Kenner line.
Yep.
So does this fall more into that category where you feel like you're getting?
A little
Something
bit. I
unique?
mean, the Batman ones, it was all the same body with,
Right.
well, for the most part. There's one that has like a quilted pattern, but for the most part, it was all the same body with repaints, and then they would just add on accessories to kind of make it like the Hydro one came with like this thing that you could attach them to make them go through water and stuff. And there was ones that have like a pack with wings on it and stuff. So it was really about just adding the accessories and then doing a repaint.
Yeah.
This really feels like a complete transformation. I mean, obviously, you already mentioned it's a different sculpt. Those boots, aren't going to be used for the regular He-Man because you can tell they're kind of more wintry boots.
Right.
Yeah, I think this is more kind of a completely different version, but I'm all for it. This kind of stuff is really cool.
Yeah, I love the translucent worked out real nice with the not only with the spear, but even on his shoulder, that icicle is the translucent as well. So
Like this makes sense to me. Like the samurai stilt bullshit He-Man,
Right.
like that, like what in what situation would I find my He-Man wanting to need that or needing to have that but this makes sense. Like you're going to an icy tundra area and stuff like, I mean,
Right.
I don't know that, still being bare chested makes sense, but having a little bit,
he's got the cape on the back.
yeah, that's
He's-
true. But having like the fur boots and the, getting some, I'm guessing it's supposed to look like frost on the loin piece with that dry brushing. Like it's,
Right.
it's
Yeah,
icing
like
up
he's
as he's walking around. Yeah.
battling through the winter storm.
Yeah. I just love the extra paint apps and stuff. It feels like they spent a little bit more time and money on making this one. So
Absolutely. And I think we've talked about this, but it just struck me again here. I'm going to talk about it again because it's been a while. The fact that the horsemen designed these with places to store their weapons, like that was always huge to me during this area. Like he's actually got a slot on the back of his cape, the cloak, to put the spear in. Because that always bugged me about the vintage figures. Like you didn't have any sort of, even He-Man, you just kind of stuck the sword in the harness. There wasn't really a
until
sheath.
you snapped the things on the harness and it
Exactly.
didn't anymore. Yeah.
Right. Because it wasn't designed for that. So
Right.
it's those kind of little things at the time where I'm like, oh my God, this looks awesome. He's got a place to store the spear and everything. Because and obviously you want to give him a power sword. That's the one thing. He doesn't come with the power sword, but we've got enough floating around from the 12 other He-Mans that we got, so can definitely stow the spear and find him a sword. All right, and you did a notch for ice armor, He-Man?
I did.
All right, perfect.
We're up to 20. We've broken into the 20s between the two.
Well, it's not going to last for long because next we've got Fire Armor Skeletor.
I mean, if you got Ice Armor He-Man, you got to have the reverse, which would be Fire Armor Skeletor.
Absolutely. So he comes with two flaming swords, the Havoc Staff with a flaming ram skull. And again, this is a almost completely new sculpt, if not completely. Looking at it real quick here. He's got his torso is a new torso. It's got like these runes and symbols carved into it. He's got all new armor, even kind of the shin guards and the bracers that are still reminiscent of his original ones have the added flame effects on there. He's got the new Havoc Staff where the ram's horns are replaced by flames, and when you press a button, of course, the ram's head launches, because the only thing better than a flaming ram skull Havoc Staff is one where you can launch that flaming
flaming ram skull.
Yep. And then really cool here where he's got the two flaming swords, but they can also attach to his back in a really cool way where it looks like he's just got flames shooting up from his back, which is what you see in the main picture there. Again, great use of translucent plastic. This one I wish we'd seen in the series. Like, this is really cool.
So in our book that we're using, Toys of Masters of the Universe, at the bottom, the picture where he's just standing straight towards the screen, like he's squared up. I think it makes him look very imposing, like we see.
Yeah.
In the other version of Skeletor that we've seen, he looks a lot more kind of hunched over, skinny, which is kind of how he is. I don't know. I mean, he's got an bigger upper portion in the cartoon, but his waist is really tiny. But here he looks very stout. like he looks kind of scary, and I do like that look, like you're talking about, with the flames coming out the back. If you're storing the swords. This is a really cool look. I mean, I don't need 9 versions of Skeletor. The fact that this is in this wave, though, makes me question the Disco Skeletor being in this wave also, right? Because I mean, this has kind of got like this copperish look to it. The Disco Skeletor has like this gold look to it. Like, to me, if you've never bought a Skeletor, or in this line, and you go out there, you're going to have to pick between these two. You're probably going to pick this one, and Disco's going to sit on the shelf, if I had to guess.
Oh, for sure.
And if you've already bought a Skeletor and you're like, yeah, but these two, I like the two of these, I'm going to pick up an extra one, you're probably going to go with this one. So, like, I just don't understand the throwing out two versions of Skeletor in the same wave. One is just a complete repaint, and one is this with all the extra cool shit. So,
I completely agree. Like, this is to 2000X what Battle Armor Skeletor is to the vintage line. Like, if you can't have a Skeletor, a regular one, like, we're up to, what'd you say, 9 before
nine
this?
9 Skeletors now, yeah.
Yeah, like, this is the first legitimate.
But that's with like repackages and.
But that's what I'm saying. This is the first. We've had all those. We've had the Disco. Yeah. We've had all that. We've had all that. This is the first one where you're like, okay, this is worthy. Like, this is a Battle Armor. This is a Dragon Blaster. This is a legit Skeletor variant that looks amazing, makes sense, and I like the fact that they did the. Like, it would have been easy to go Ice Armor He-Man, Ice Armor Skeletor here.
Yeah, they'll never do that.
They would never do that.
No, they would never do an Ice Armor Skeletor.
It was fun with them doing the fire and ice, the yin and the yang, And I think it was a real missed story opportunity to have, especially, like I said, like, the Horseman had a great plot idea with, like, the runes. Into Skeletor's chest, like this is some sort of magical spirit or incantation, like Skeletor did something and got these powers, and now He-Man's got to stop him. Like, you can just see the plot points in the toy. So, yeah,
couple things. Number one, I got to correct you on something on the vintage. Battle Armor Skeletor is by far the preferred one. So that is the one you want to have. The regular Skeletor is what you want to have if you can't have the Battle Armor, because Battle Armor is the best. And then number two, the only thing on this character I look at and I go, I wish they would have done it a little different. You can see this like flame sculpt detail on his loin cloth. Yep. And they didn't add any kind of paint details at all to like bring that out. I think even if you didn't color the whole thing, if you just like colored like the outside, like put some yellow in there or something, or some red in the middle or something, if you paint any of that flame detail, it really would make that part of it pop. But other than that, I think this is awesome.
Yeah. Well, and if Battle Armor Skeletor is the best Skeletor in your opinion, then it's also the best variant Skeletor. So my point stands. So it only took us 10 Skeletors, but we finally got a worthy variant.
9.
I thought it was 10 with him.
No, this is 9.
Okay.
What is that? Wait. Yeah, because we were at 7 when we started. We just added 2 more. So yeah.
Gotcha. All right, let's see if we can find some more He-Men and Skeletors. Nope, we've got a unique character. We've got Evil Lynn coming up next.
About time. 5 waves.
Yeah, and she was in it. And this is kind of the problem, especially with the Evil Warriors, with them doing this. One wave can only have good guys. The next wave can have both. The Evil Warriors are really, we're not even... we're already through the first season of the cartoon, and we're still trying to get kind of the basic evil warriors out there that have been there from the start.
Well, and especially Evelyn, because I feel like 2000X really kind of amped up her presence in the bad guy side of Masters, right? Like she was always kind of the right hand in Filmation. But I think in 2000X, and then especially once we get into like Revolution, like she becomes more of a character that is kind of got her own agenda, right?
Yeah.
Like she's following Skeletor, but she's just not one of these mindless minions. She's got her own plans and stuff. So I think, waiting 5 waves to get this character is kind of ridiculous. Like if the number 2 after He-Man is Man-at-Arms, like this is the number 2 for Skeletor. To me, this has to be like a wave 1, wave 2 release at most. Like you can't go further than that. So yeah, this is a little late for this character, but I'm sure at this point people were really wanting this one.
Yeah, so she was the short pack. So there's only one of her in each wave. She comes with her magic staff and the dagger. Same as we've seen the magic staff in the cartoon. Looks like her vintage, but with the longer staff.
They're probably working on the old school thought process that boys don't want
boys
figures,
don't want girls,
which is not true. I mean, because those are still essential characters in the story, right?
Yep. Especially Evelyn. Like, I mean, she just looks gorgeous. I mean, this is hands down one of the best figures in the line. Still built off the Tila Buck, but still definitely very unique. And this one was hard to find. I never actually saw her in stores.
Wow. Back
in the day. I eventually got her by trading an extra Cobra Khan I had in a few waves with a member of He-Man.org. So, yeah, she was incredibly hard to find. But, I mean, she looks gorgeous. She looks like she just stepped out of the cartoon. Like, I mean, it's Evelyn. They knocked it out of the park.
Can you go back a slide to the firearm Skeletor? I'm sorry. I just because I'm looking at the Evelyn one, and I remembered as we're going through this, because it's been a while since we've done a toy one, that the back of the box art a lot of times doesn't match what the final figure looked like.
Correct.
Look at the back box art of the fire armor Skeletor, and it doesn't have it on here, but that flame on the loin piece is painted in exactly the way that I just described.
Yeah.
Like you just paint that one inside spot with a little orange and stuff, and look how much more it pops.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm guessing that's one of the things where they were like, hey, we got to cut costs a little bit. Let's remove a paint app or two. And this one kind of hit the cutting room floor. And I think it makes a huge difference. But as we then go back to the Evelyn, the loin piece there is a little bit different, but I think I actually like the final version better. So
yeah, like we said before, a lot of times for the figure on the card back, they use the prototype. With Fire Armor Skeletor, it almost looks like the loin piece has more depth to it. Like it looks like there's actually a raised part that maybe got flattened out. Like I don't think that's just paint there. Looking at it closer,
I think it is, because if you look at this picture that we've got on the screen, you can see there's sculpted detail where the flames are. And if you paint that on the inside, it's going to make it look like it's got a lot of depth. And I think that's what's going on here.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting, like that they would make those changes production wise, but then not change the art on the back. Like it doesn't take much to change the art on the back. Usually the the packaging is usually the last thing that gets done in the production process, right?
Yep.
Like they tool the figures, they inject the figures, they paint the figures, and then usually package art is the last thing. So for them to not change it and then send these out, when a lot of these on the back look way better than the finished product. And it's like to me, that would kind of tick me off, right? Like as
Mhm.
a collector, if I go, man, this is kind of what I thought I was getting, and then I got this other thing that's not quite as good. So,
Oh, for sure. For sure. And we've definitely discussed that in previous ones too. These ones.
I just thought it was funny because I'm like looking at this figure and I'm like, man, if they just did this one thing, and then I look at the card back and I'm like, oh, they did. They just didn't produce it that way. So.
All right.
But yeah, this is a great Evelyn.
Oh, it's phenomenal. And definitely more Filmation inspired, which I'm a big fan of. Like for me, it's always been Filmation over vintage toy.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
Yeah. I mean, I don't like the yellow skin.
That's what I'm saying. Yellow skin,
like
blue outfit.
Yeah. And I like the purple much better than the blue. Yeah.
Absolutely. So great that we finally got her, and she does have her power punch as well. So because you can't do much else with the female sculpts in there. You can't add a big old knob on the back. Thank God. I think that's what helps it a lot is they had to keep a standard kind of action feature with that sculpt, so you're not messing with the Horseman's design there.
And I think there's certain things that I think they felt like they had to continue from the vintage line, and action features is one of them that I don't know that they did. I think if you would have just focused on having really good sculpts and good articulation, I mean, none of these bend at the knees, right? They're all like these static leg poses. So they're almost like statues.
Yep. They were all designed to have elbow and knee, and Mattel said, nope, not going to happen.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that putting in that like knee articulation versus the action feature would have been so much better. And then, the other antiquated notion is this whole like boys won't buy girl figures. And so we're going to short pack this, even though this is like probably the main bad person after Skeletor. Right. Kind of ridiculous.
But it's a girl. Yucky. Yeah. All right. Next up, we've got Manny Faces from the Heroic Warriors. He comes with a blaster and a missile. And of course, his action feature retains faithful to the vintage. You turn the knob on his head and you got the man robot monster.
I gotta say, I always thought this version of Manny Faces looks ridiculous. The face hole is just way too small. And I understand you have to have this bigger kind of helmet design in order to facilitate that turning. And even the vintage had kind of a big noggin on him, but it still had a bigger opening window for the faces. Like these faces look so freaking tiny, it's comical. So yeah, I just the rest of the figure looks, it's decent design. Once again, we're talking about, very limited articulation. But I think that face hole on this is just way too small.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. What kills me about it to this day is that freaking blaster. Like it's literally half as tall as he is.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on.
Come on.
You go from the Manny Faces vintage little pew pew blaster, and then this guy walks out with this thing. Like it's overcompensating. Like,
yeah, they're gonna have a bunch of firing mechanisms and stuff. Like, I don't know. Once again, they're hooked on the action feature part of it instead of just, giving good toys. So
right. And then the one that's always bugged me about this is if you look, it's not here on the screen, but if you look in the book, the turnaround, the back of him just drives me nuts. How they're just like, we spent all of our paint app money on the front and just leave the back an essentially skin colored piece for Manny Faces. Like he's got a bare back going by that color scheme. So.
And then the piece coming from the centerpiece up towards his face, the more
the breathalyzer,
the phallic looking thing. Yeah. On the card back, it looks the same color as the tubing that's going on his chest. Whereas here they decided to give it more this silver color, which I'm guessing is the color that piece is sculpted in. It seems like it's one of those sculpted gray, so they basically just didn't paint it. But I don't know, it makes it stand out more and look a little odd compared to the card back, where to me it feels like it fits in more because it matches that tubing.
But then they don't have his upper armor, the blue armor.
Yeah, that I
It's
like
just
better on this. I like the blue rather. Yeah, he looks like he's like naked on the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in Manny Faces was the chase variant of this wave, where he had a different colored blaster and a different paint deco on his chest harness.
Oh, okay.
So I can't remember. I'm thinking it might that what we're seeing on the back card back. I think that might be closer
To the chase.
To the chase. I'm trying to remember where because they hid chases oddly in this one instead of putting them with the figure. Yeah, so if you flip to the very last page, 386, that's where they've got all the chase variants. And yeah, so he comes with a red blaster, and he's that he doesn't have the blue on the upper, and that piece is the red. So basically that card back, the figure is the same deco.
Gotcha.
So
cool.
Yep.
Next.
All right, we've got Too Bad, finally. One of my favorite upgrades from the series. He comes with a very vintage inspired shield and an all new mace weapon with 2 heads to the mace. Curtis,
yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely an upgrade from the vintage toy. I always thought the vintage toy was stupid. Where it's just got like the arms that like all they can do is go inward towards themselves, or you can give a bear hug. So even though this is still very limited articulation, I think the look of this, how especially you can kind of see on this picture here, where it's like the one side is lower than the other side, because in the cartoon, Tuvar was much taller than Badra. So having the one side kind of slunched down and then the other side taller is cool. I just think this looks really neat. I wish they would have given us both Tuvar and Badra separately. I think that would have been really cool for this line. But this is really well done. I like it.
Yeah, it's a great upgrade. You look at him, you know instantly who he is. But
I think a few paint apps on the chest and the shield would have gone a long way on like those spikes and stuff. But other than that, I think this is really good.
Yeah, and I like how they did the loincloth. Like it's even the loincloth is fused this time around, 2 separate styles. I'm not a fan of the colors they chose. For me, that's where the figure falls apart. The red belt with the green and black, like it doesn't, like even separately, it doesn't feel like it's either of them. Like why would Tuvar's not be silver like the rest of his gauntlet and his boot? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that.
And if Badra's had been brown like his sandals and his bracer, like. But that's about the only. I get what you're definitely the paint app on the chest armor would really help a lot. But I really think the one nitpick I have is the colors chosen for the loincloth. Those could have been more in line with the characters.
Yeah, that green is really kind of stands out. That like pea vomit, green.
Yeah, when you have silver all over that side, like just make that silver. I could have even done with the
even
silver
if it was
black
all the way across, and it was just one solid color, or black and brown, or something that's not drawing your eye to that section, because you're you really want to focus on the two head aspect of it, right? Like that's the main part of this.
Right.
You don't want your eyes being drawn down to the, like, why is there this one, like, because black can kind of go with anything, right? Because there's shadows on the figure and things like that. But that green matches literally nothing else on this whole figure.
Mhm.
So it really stands out.
I'm just trying to look. Yeah, and this is one that really doesn't change much from the prototype there. It looks like Badger is a bit lighter colored.
Yeah, and on the card he looks more pinkish than the purple.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I think they hit it right on the release figure there.
Yeah.
That blue and purple just works.
I mean,
so
this
well
is a huge upgrade from the vintage for sure, though.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And now you can move the arms up and down. You can pose him. Yeah. It's
well, and if you're going to have these like static elbows and knees, right? I would prefer that you at least have like one, like he's got that blue arm, the Tuvar arm is kind of cocked to where you could make him punch, right? Like you could turn this figure and make him punch somebody. Sometimes they have the arms in a pose where it's like, what are you going to actually do with that? Like you can basically stand it in this one pose and that's it, but you can't really play with this figure. This one, you could definitely make him sock somebody.
Oh, for sure.
So.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, we're back to the Heroic Warriors with Buzz Off.
I'm sorry, I chuckle because I'm sitting here putting these tabs on earlier, which, by the way, a million tabs. They ramped up the amount of figures in these waves. But I'm sitting here putting these tabs on this book so that I can easily flip to it. And I'm like going through and I'm naming the characters that I'm putting, and I go Buzz Off. And Darla's sitting across the room. She goes, "I'm not going anywhere."
I love it.
Yeah,
he's always had the best name.
Mm.
So he comes with his axe, a missile for the axe, because all axes fire missiles on Eternia, and a vintage-inspired helmet piece, which we never actually see in the series.
I don't like the helmet.
I've never liked the helmet. Even the vintage one, I never used it. It just went.
I thought it was okay on the vintage one. I don't like it on here, especially on this much. Like all of these 2000X figures have very small heads. That's something I've kind of complained about, is that the heads look very small on here. So to take that really small head and then put that giant headpiece on it kind of looks dumb. But you can't see it on the slide. Sorry, folks. But if you check out the book or look up online, the figure without the headpiece actually the head looks really good. I think they did a good job on that head. I feel like the legs look too skinny on here. The upper body, like if you look at him in package, because in in package look, it kind of blurs out the bottom half of the figure, right? Like you can't see it because of the way that the packaging is. I think it looks great in package because the upper body looks awesome, but the lower body, I don't know. It just looks it looks very insect-like, like if that's what you're going for, but it doesn't look like the cartoon and to me, and it doesn't look like it fits in the line because it's so elongated.
That's actually the funny thing is when I went last night putting together the slides and I got to Buzz Off, the first thing I thought was, wow, I'd forgotten how skinny they made this figure. Because like we've gone through the 26 episodes now, and I'm so used to seeing him. I mean, he's still like a more insectoid character in the cartoon, but he's bulkier than this. He's got more muscle than this. And so that was the first thing that popped out at me too. It's like, I forgot how skinny they went with him. Very insectoid, very good sculpting. Just big difference between this and the cartoon Buzz Off that we've been seeing.
But I mean, like the torso, when he's standing like straight forward, the torso does look like he looks jacked in the packaging.
Yeah, it's the legs and the arms.
Yeah. And really, it's more like I think the arms just go on a little long. If they weren't so long, I think it would be okay.
Yeah,
but I'm trying to find a good in package look at this so that I can share it real quick. See,
Yeah,
open
he's
in my tab.
definitely. Again, they used a bit of translucent plastic on his missile. It's a fun figure. The wings are translucent like the vintage. He's got the extra pieces.
Yeah, so like this, to me, this looks great. Like I like the head much better without the helmet attachment. With the legs blurred out, you don't realize how long and skinny they are. Like he feels very broad chested.
Yep.
This looks cool, but then like when you get out of package, you're like, oh, you know, just don't know. And the other thing is with the whole like static knee thing. I don't know about these feet, man. Like this doesn't feel like a figure that's going to stand up too well. This feels like one that's going to shelf dive.
I mean, he definitely had one pose. Like you're not getting like a wider stance or anything. You're not like that's it. That's how he stands. Which is a lot of these figures, honestly. So I don't remember him being overly shelf divey, but definitely there's not a lot of wiggle room there.
Yeah, man, I just the in package, like this is one. If I ever bought this, I would keep it in package. Like look at like that looks gorgeous in package. I love that, and the head looks amazing. Yeah, I even like the weapon. Everything about the packaging I love, and then I see this and I'm like, eh.
The thing that bugged me is
bugged you. I got it.
The horseman for the toy went with the claw hand. And I really like the kind of 3-fingered that they did in the cartoon. Like I think I get why they went this way, honoring the vintage and everything else, but I really think that he needs more the Ninja Turtle hand than the claw hand. But minor nitpick.
I mean, if they went with a clawed hand, like I mean, I don't want to pull it out, but like for Cosmic Legions, they did the Sphexian, where it's a clawed hand, but it does have like 3 sections to where it can still hold a weapon and stuff, and looks like a hand. I think that would have been great.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That because that's more what the cartoon was like.
Yeah, I think like a Sphexian hand on this would be awesome, and which is, that's what I think folks are using when they're making Buzz Off customs in Cosmic. So
right. So yeah, you got more
like
of that, where it's still thinner, it's more insectoid like that's
it
what
still feels like a hand instead of a claw, but it's got that kind of insect vibe to it still.
Yeah, and that's what more the cartoon was.
Yeah.
So that's the only real big disappointment.
And it's weird that he's got kind of a clawful thing going on where the one side is like this little claw and the other one is like this big giant antenna almost.
Well, if you look at in the book at the bottom, it's because the one is closed so that he can hold because that's the thing with the clawed hands, you can't get them to hold a weapon. So one's sculpted in like a fist, for lack of a better word,
the other one's kind of
and the other's open. Yeah. So
gotcha.
Again, I think that could have been avoided going. I get where they drew their inspiration from, but this is a case where I think the cartoon got it better.
Gotcha.
And he did come with, he was the other Chase variant of this wave. The Chase had a more bright yellow belt, and he had the smile painted in for his face.
Is that all more like 386 or whatever?
Yeah, I believe he was back there as well.
Okay, gotcha.
What's funny is
what is the difference again?
So the mouth is painted in with like a brown to look more like the vintage, and then the belt is a yellow instead of a gold.
Oh, I kind of like those changes. It looks like the weapon. No, the weapon's I think the weapon's the same.
No, the weapon's
a little darker. Okay.
Which is fun.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say this is the only Chase variant I found in the stores, and it was the only Buzz Off I found was the Chase variant.
Oh wow.
So yeah, that was pretty cool.
I kind of I guess more of a take on the book itself, the toys of Masters of the Universe, but I'm surprised that what you have on screen is the look that they went with, because everything else, the front of the card back, like everything else shows him without the helmet on. And then this is like the picture that they went with. I don't know.
Well, I think they always do the full pack out. I guess not. Because Battle Sound Skeletor doesn't have his swords. I don't know.
Anyways, just interesting. Like, even if they would have had him holding that helmet or something in the other hand, like shove that in there.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the accessories right next to it, so you didn't need it. And I guess it's just on a case-by-case basis, because just flipping through real quick, there are definitely figures that aren't holding everything that they have in that big picture. So
it's just like the other look without the helmet is how we see him in the cartoon, and it's the better look by far. So,
for sure.
But anyway, I digress.
In the wings, real quick, the wings are ball jointed instead of the old clip on. So you actually do have
some range of motion.
Yeah, up, down, front, back. Yeah, you can do some different things there too.
Cool.
Then we've got Whiplash. My God, he was in episode 1 of the cartoon. And we finally get him here. Big and badass. He comes with his trident sword, for lack of a better term. No one's ever really been able to figure out what that weapon is. And then, of course, he's got his tail. A button on his back makes him whip the tail back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, I love this version. I actually picked this up and had it with my classics for a little while, because he's so big and chunky that he kind of fits in with a taller line.
Oh, for sure.
I love this head on it. I love the bulkiness. Yeah, this figure's cool. I really like it a lot.
Yeah, this was one we'd been waiting for a long time, and when he finally came out, the chunkiness, the bigness, and he looks so evil here, like that head sculpt and the body, and he doesn't have the beer belly that the cartoon had. Like this guy looks like a menace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very solid, chunky figure. I like it
for sure. Yeah, there's not much else to say. Like he's so well done. Like I have no nitpicks about him.
And this is another one where if you look at the back of the card art to what the final copy is, I think it came out better. They added some extra dark paint details towards the top of them and on the shoulders and stuff, and I think it really helped bring it out a little bit more, make him look that kind of lizard like. Yeah, and even the tail looks like the back card art didn't have the spine of the tail colored in with that darker color. So yeah, they made some changes on the final that actually paid off, I think.
Oh, for sure.
Even like this is a small tiny detail, but like if you look at the card art on that trident sword thing, the circle on the trident part, they have this like black ring around it. Like that's a paint app they absolutely did not need to put in there, but it just adds that extra little level of detail that makes it look cooler. So
no, absolutely. He definitely even like the eyes, he's got a smokiness around the eyes.
Yeah.
That's not in that card back version.
Got a little Leo Faker going on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Wearing his sunglasses at night.
All right, so that is Wave 5.
Didn't we have a playset too? Or is that the next one?
Next one.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
I thought that was this one. Sorry.
No, you're good.
All right. No, it says this with this one. You sent me a mutant slime pit.
Oh, So that was actually a either a mistake on my part or a mistake on their part. We did that with Wave 4.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. Yeah, I forgot
Gotcha.
to tell you about that. I don't know what happened there. Yeah,
Okay.
so the list I used this time put the Mutant Slime Pit with Wave 5. The list I used last time put it with Wave 4. So we did cover that on the last toy episode.
Gotcha. I forgot that one. Okay.
Cool. So what are your? Let's start with what's your dud of the wave? What's your one that you're like, oh my god, that was just unnecessary?
I think the one that I was like, this makes no sense to me was the repaint Beast Man. Like, the change is so minimal, and then like the green fur doesn't make sense to me. Like, out of all of them, it was definitely going to be one of the repaints, and I think that's the one that's the most lackluster to me.
Gotcha. I'll go ahead and jump on it. Like, for me, any of the repaints, really, even the ones that I liked, I'm still like, especially because once you get past the repaints, this is probably the most solid wave.
Oh, it's a good one
we've had. Like,
I'm gonna actually struggle with which one's my favorite.
Yeah, so I basically, for me, you can put any of the repaints in that dud, because if it had not been for the repaints, I don't know that I could have chosen a dud this time.
Not the Triclops. That Triclops repaint is solid. That's a good one.
Doomseeker is fun.
Yeah.
All right. How about your favorite of the wave then?
Man. The Fire Armor Skeletor is kind of cool. Evelyn's amazing. The Whiplash I liked enough to buy to put with my classics.
Yeah.
Ice Armor He-Man is pretty spectacular. I gotta say, I think I'm going with the Triclops repaint.
That's your.
I think
that you saw all these figures on the shelf at one time. You're grabbing that Triclops repaint.
Yeah, he feels just more kind of like to me, 2000X changed Triclops into this like tech. He's basically like the man at arms of the Evil Warriors, right? Like, he's the tech guy. He's also a swordsman, and just having that more kind of clothed look that they kind of painted the black on the sides and gave him pants. And then you get the Doomseeker with it. As Ice Armor He-Man's a really close second, but I got to give it to Triclops. Nice. Yeah.
For me, it was. I mean, all these figures are great. Fire Armor, Ice Armor, definitely up there. Evelyn's gorgeous. For me, it was between Too Bad and Whiplash. They're both just amazing updates of an iconic character. I think Whiplash slightly edges it out. I think just because he's been, since episode 1 of the series, we've been waiting for him longer. And I really think this Whiplash figure is the Whiplash I want to see. This big brute monster, evil, that guy doesn't look like he's going, dur, 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 where's the button? He's going, yeah, I'm going to crush you, He-Man. So, yeah, I got to go that big, hefty chunk of plastic.
I can definitely see that.
All right, so at the end of 5 waves, what is our He-Man Skeletor count?
We ended up with, I think we're still at 20, right? No, 21, sorry. We are at 12 He-Man, 9 Skeletors, 21 overall ways to purchase He-Man and Skeletor through 5 waves.
Yeah. So for those of our viewers who are bad at math, that's an average of 4 He-Man Skeletor figures a wave.
There you go.
All right, guys.
But we only had 3 this wave, so we're trending in the right direction. So.
Yeah, and two of them are some of the most badass interpretations.
Yeah, they're pretty good
series. So.
Yeah, and then Disco Skeletor.
This is kind of the thing. It's like you're so sick of the He-Man and Skeletors, and then they're like, "Here's Fire Armor and Ice Armor," and you're like, "Son of a, I'm back in." Okay, you got me.
So let me ask you a question then, because I didn't know about this until way after the fact, but you lived through this era. with these three that came out in this wave, you got Ice Armor He-Man,
Yep.
you got the Fire Armor Skeletor, and then you got Disco Skeletor. Would you have ever imagined that the one with the staying power that you would see for years to come was Disco Skeletor?
No, that's what I'm saying. When that thing was hated when it came out. I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely hated. Out of all the stuff they could have done, that's what they did. And it was just like, you know,
I mean,
people
we've got
got
a
it as
Mondo Disco Skeletor, right? Like, where's the
Right.
Mondo Ice
Fire
Armor
Armor.
He-Man?
Yeah.
Dude,
No, for
like
sure.
that would be
Like,
great, wouldn't it?
yeah, it makes no sense how that joke of a figure turned into that's the one that's going to have the most variance beyond like original He-Man and Skeletor. Yeah, it just kills
That's
me.
what it is.
Kills me. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to click all those buttons down below, like, share, subscribe, catch up on our past episodes. And until next time, make sure you play with some toys.
Oh, come on.